Don't just survive life, upgrade it. Every day you wake up is a chance to raise your standard, not your status. Because when your inner world grows, your outer world transforms. My friends, too many people today are living below their potential, not because they don't have talent, but because they've accepted an average standard of living, thinking that's all they deserve. Life is not meant to be lived in comparison, competition, or comfort. It is meant to be lived in contribution, growth, and excellence. You see, we often measure our success by how much we have. How much money, how many likes, how many possessions. But the true standard of life is not about how high you can climb, it's about how deep you can grow. Raising your standard doesn't mean changing your clothes or your car. It means changing your mindset, your discipline, and your daily habits. Because when your thinking rises, your entire life follows. So today, let's talk about how to increase the standard of your life. Not tomorrow, not next month, but starting from this very moment. The 7 key points of the speech 1 define what high standard means for Ro. Most people live by society's standards, chasing what others want, not what their soul needs. A higher standard begins when you stop copying others and start crafting yourself. Ask, what kind of person do I want to become? Not, what do others expect from me? When your definition of success comes from your values, your peace increases, and so does your purpose. Most people live their lives following a script written by someone else. They wake up, go to work, chase deadlines, and try to fit into a mold that was never meant for them. They compare, copy, and compete, never stopping to ask, what does a high standard of life mean to me? You see, true growth begins the moment you stop measuring yourself by others and start defining success on your own terms. Because what makes your life meaningful may not look impressive on the outside, but it can bring peace and purpose on the inside. And that's where real elevation begins. Think about it. How many people spend their whole lives trying to impress the world, but forget to express their soul? We chase cars, houses, promotions, and followers, yet at the end of the day, we still feel empty. That's because we're chasing standards that were never ours to begin with. You cannot raise the standard of your life by copying the lifestyle of someone else. A fish cannot live on land, and a bird cannot swim in the ocean. Both are powerful in their own space because they know where they belong. Similarly, your strength lies in knowing your own definition of a meaningful life. Defining your standard means asking deeper questions. What do I truly value? What kind of energy do I want to give to this world? What kind of person do I want to become when no one is watching? When you start thinking this way, life becomes less about success and more about significance. You stop trying to look rich and start working to feel fulfilled. You stop competing with others and begin completing yourself. Imagine a man who earns millions but goes home every night filled with emptiness and anger. He has everything money can buy, yet he has lost everything that makes life worth living. Now imagine another man who may have less, but he wakes up every morning with gratitude, works with honesty, and sleeps peacefully because his heart is light. Who has a higher standard of life? The second one, because his values define his success, not his valuables. The beauty of defining your own standard is that it gives you freedom. The freedom to grow without fear, to live without comparison, and to succeed without ego. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than the version of yourself you were yesterday. When you start seeing growth as a personal journey, not a public race, you'll find that peace walks beside you every step of the way. Let's take a simple example from daily life. Imagine a student who constantly compares himself to the class topper. Every exam, he feels anxious, not because he doesn't study, but because he studies with fear of being judged. Then one day, he decides to stop comparing and start improving at his own pace. He sets his own goals, focuses on understanding instead of memorizing, and celebrates progress instead of perfection. Slowly, his results improve, not because he tried to be better than others, but because he tried to be the best version of himself. That is what it means to raise your standard, shifting from competition to contribution, from imitation to creation. When you define your own standard, you also stop being controlled by opinions. You no longer seek constant approval because you already have inner acceptance. You understand that not everyone will understand your path, and that's okay. Some will criticize you for dreaming too big, others will mock you for moving too slow. But when your goal is clear and your intention is pure, you don't need the world's validation. Your peace becomes your proof. Look at a tree. It doesn't compare itself to the one beside it. It simply grows in its own rhythm, steady, strong, and silent. It doesn't rush to blossom, it trusts the process. When the time is right, it blooms beautifully, naturally. That's how life should be. You don't need to rush your growth to match someone else's timeline. You don't need to prove your worth through possessions or praise. Just nurture your roots, your values, your purpose, your integrity, and life will naturally rise to a higher standard. Defining your standard also means letting go of things that no longer align with your values. It may mean walking away from toxic habits, relationships, or environments. It may mean saying no to things that look shiny but don't serve your peace. It takes courage to choose growth over comfort, but every choice that costs your comfort buys your clarity. And that clarity will become your compass. When you know who you are and what you stand for, decisions become easier. You stop living in confusion and start living with conviction. You'll notice that your energy changes. You speak differently, walk differently, and even think differently. You begin to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your new standard. Life becomes less about what happens to you and more about what grows within you. So define your standard not by the clothes you wear, the car you drive, or the applause you receive. Define it by the peace you feel when you wake up, by the gratitude you hold in your heart, and by the way you treat people when no one's watching. The world may measure success by how much you achieve, but your soul measures it by how much you evolve. Remember, the greatest transformation begins with a single decision: to live by your own values, not someone else's version of success. Don't lower your standards to fit the world. Instead, raise your world to match your standards. When you do that, you won't just be living, you'll be leading, inspiring, and truly thriving. That's how you increase the standard of your life, by defining it through your truth, your growth, and your peace. You cannot rise higher when the people around you are pulling you lower. Your environment shapes your energy, and your energy shapes your destiny. The company you keep is like the soil in which your life is planted. If the soil is dry and toxic, no matter how good the seed is, it won't grow. But if the soil is fertile, nurturing, and full of light, even the smallest seed can become a tree that touches the sky. That's why surrounding yourself with growth, not gossip, is one of the most powerful decisions you can make to raise the standard of your life. Think about how easily our minds get influenced by what we hear daily. Sit with people who complain all day, and soon you'll find yourself complaining too. Spend time with people who dream, plan, and act, and suddenly you'll start feeling more driven, more alive. The truth is, energy is contagious. You absorb the vibration of the people around you, whether it's optimism or pessimism, focus or fear, progress or procrastination. That's why the people you allow into your space aren't just part of your life, they become part of your mindset. Many people don't realize that staying in negative circles is like standing in a room full of smoke. At first, it seems tolerable, but soon it starts to choke you slowly without you even noticing. Gossiping, criticizing, and complaining might feel entertaining for a moment, but they drain your inner strength. They shift your focus from growth to judgment, from creation to comparison. You start discussing others instead of discovering yourself. Imagine this. Two friends meet daily after work. One spends the evening discussing how unfair life is, how everyone else is luckier, and how the system is broken. The other spends her time learning new skills, setting small goals, and reading to improve her thinking. After a year, their lives look completely different. Not because one was luckier, but because one chose an environment of excuses, while the other chose an environment of elevation. The difference isn't talent, it's company. When you surround yourself with people who grow, you feel inspired, not insecure. You learn to see challenges as opportunities, not obstacles. Growth-minded people will not let you settle for mediocrity. They will push you to stretch your limits, to question your comfort, and to dream bigger. They will celebrate your victories genuinely and correct your mistakes lovingly. Such people are not easy to find, but once you do, value them deeply, because they are the mirrors that reflect your best potential. There's a story of a man who wanted to run a marathon, but didn't believe he could. Every day, his friends laughed at him, telling him it was impossible. Eventually, he gave up even before trying. Later, he moved to a new city, where he met a group of fitness enthusiasts. They encouraged him to start small, walk a little, jog a little, push a little more every week. Within months, he not only ran the marathon, but also inspired others to join him. The only thing that changed was his environment. When his circle changed, his mindset changed, and when his mindset changed, his life changed. You must ask yourself, do the people around me water my dreams or drain them? Do they lift my vision higher or pull it into doubt? Do I leave conversations feeling motivated or mentally exhausted? Your answers will reveal whether your circle is helping you grow or holding you back. Life is too precious to spend around energy that shrinks your spirit. Surrounding yourself with growth doesn't mean cutting people off cruelly. It means adjusting the distance with wisdom. You can still be kind to everyone, but be close only to those who inspire you to evolve. Just as you choose what food you eat to nourish your body, choose what company you keep to nourish your mind. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's essential. And remember, you must also become the kind of person others feel inspired to be around. Don't just seek inspiring people, be one. Speak words that lift others, not ones that pull them down. Listen more, complain less. Encourage others' progress, not their problems. When you create an atmosphere of growth, you attract more people who value the same vibration. Like positivity attracts positivity. Let's bring this to daily life. Imagine working in an office where everyone gossips about coworkers, criticizes management, and dreads Mondays. The energy feels heavy. You can almost sense the frustration in the air. Now imagine another environment where colleagues motivate each other, appreciate small efforts, and focus on solutions instead of spreading negativity. Which place would you thrive in? Which one would push you to give your best? Obviously, the second. Because human beings grow best in environments of encouragement, not in atmospheres of complaint. The same principle applies at home, in friendships, and even online. What kind of content do you consume daily? Who are you following on social media? Are you learning, growing, and becoming better? Or are you scrolling through drama, criticism, and negativity? The voices you listen to shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your future. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas, not individuals. People who discuss goals, not gossip. People who speak from understanding, not judgment. Let your conversations be filled with purpose, gratitude, and vision. Because the more you engage in meaningful discussions, the more your mind expands. So, choose your circle like you choose your future, carefully, intentionally, and wisely. Stay close to people who make you want to become a better human being. Walk with those who remind you of your purpose, not your problems. Learn from those who have walked paths of patience and persistence. When you build an environment of growth, even your silence starts to speak confidence, your actions reflect discipline, and your results become your response to the world. Because in the end, you don't just become what you dream, you become what you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with growth, and you'll outgrow everything that once held you back. Discipline is the quiet force that shapes greatness. It is not loud, it doesn't shout for attention, and it doesn't need to be seen, but its results speak louder than any words ever could. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your destiny, the difference between wishing for success and working for it. Many people pray for change, but few are willing to live with the consistency that brings it. Motivation might inspire you for a moment, but discipline sustains you for a lifetime. In daily life, it's easy to start something. Anyone can wake up one morning feeling inspired after watching a motivational video or hearing an encouraging speech. But only those who have discipline will keep going long after the excitement fades. You see, motivation is like the spark that starts a fire, but discipline is the wood that keeps it burning through the cold nights of struggle. Think about a student preparing for exams. At the beginning, they feel motivated. They make study schedules, highlight notes, and set big goals. But after a few days, when distractions appear, when sleep feels sweeter, and when no one is watching, the motivation fades. What keeps that student going in those silent hours is not excitement but discipline. The commitment to keep showing up even when it feels difficult. That's the power of discipline. It turns temporary feelings into permanent results. Discipline is not punishment, it's the highest form of self-respect. When you keep your promises to yourself, you prove that you are someone you can rely on. You stop saying, "I'll start tomorrow," because you know that tomorrow never comes for those who live in excuses. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up early when your bed is warm. It's choosing fruits over junk food when temptation whispers. It's staying calm in anger, focused in chaos, and grateful in waiting. There's a simple truth: without discipline, dreams remain dreams. You can have the most beautiful vision for your life, but if your actions are inconsistent, that vision will fade like mist under the morning sun. Consistency is the heartbeat of success. Every drop of effort, even the small ones, adds up over time to create something extraordinary. Just as rivers carve valleys not by force, but by continuous flow, discipline carves success not through bursts of energy, but through persistence. Imagine an artist painting a masterpiece. Each day, they add just a few strokes. Some days the work looks beautiful, other days it looks messy and incomplete. But they keep showing up, brush in hand, believing in the process. After months of effort, the painting stands finished, vivid, powerful, and full of life. People admire the final piece, but forget the countless hours of discipline behind it. Life works exactly like that. The results people praise are built on the unseen hours of dedication, routine, and patience. One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it takes away freedom. In truth, discipline creates freedom. A disciplined mind is not controlled by laziness, emotions, or distractions. It's free to choose what truly matters. The person who controls their habits controls their life. Think of a musician who practices daily, refining every note. Their discipline gives them the freedom to perform beautifully without fear. A person without discipline may have talent, but they will always be a prisoner of inconsistency. In our daily lives, discipline appears in the smallest of choices. It's in how you manage your time, how you speak to others, how you treat your work, and even how you handle your thoughts. Every act of discipline strengthens your character, just like every workout strengthens your muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. And when you live with discipline long enough, it stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes your natural rhythm. But discipline is not only about doing, it's also about not doing. It's saying no to distractions that waste your energy, no to habits that slow your growth, and no to people who drain your peace. It's choosing the long-term reward over short-term pleasure. For example, when you choose to save instead of spend impulsively, that's discipline. When you choose to listen before reacting, that's discipline. When you choose to stay kind in moments of anger, that's discipline. Every time you make these choices, you rise a little higher in your standard of life. There will be days when you don't feel like being disciplined, days when your mind will scream for comfort, when you'll want to give up. In those moments, remember the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. A few minutes of discipline today can save you from years of disappointment later. When you train your mind to do what's right instead of what's easy, you start living on a different level, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Discipline also builds confidence. Each time you follow through on your commitments, you strengthen your self-belief. You start trusting yourself more because you've proven that you can rely on your own word. You stop depending on others to push you because you've built your own internal drive. That's when true growth begins. When you realize you no longer need motivation to move, you move because it's who you are now. Think of the athletes who wake up before dawn to train, the writers who sit for hours to finish their books, the entrepreneurs who work tirelessly through failures. None of them succeed by accident. Their victories are written in the ink of discipline. Behind every achievement is a story of silent mornings, hard decisions, and consistent effort. So, if you want to increase the standard of your life, let discipline become your lifestyle. Start small, make your bed every morning, plan your day, honor your commitments, and take care of your body and mind. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. The moment you choose discipline, you stop living by feelings and start living by purpose. Remember, the world respects those who master themselves, because in mastering yourself, you master everything else. Discipline is not about controlling life, it's about controlling your response to it. And when you live with that kind of focus and consistency, your life naturally rises above average. You begin to live not just successfully but meaningfully. Excuses are the comfort zone of the weak, but execution is the weapon of the strong. Every time we choose an excuse, we surrender a piece of our potential. Every time we choose execution, we reclaim our power to grow. The difference between people who dream and those who achieve is not intelligence or luck. It is the courage to act even when things aren't perfect. You see, life will never hand you the right timing, perfect conditions, or an easy path. The people who make progress are those who move forward despite the obstacles, despite the fear, and despite the doubt. Excuses are sweet in the beginning, but bitter in the end. Execution is hard in the beginning, but beautiful in the end. That is the simple truth. Many people wait for motivation to strike before taking action, but motivation is like the weather, it changes every day. Discipline and execution are like the sun, they rise no matter what. When you train yourself to act, not wait, your life begins to shift from ordinary to extraordinary. Think about how many times we tell ourselves small lies to feel safe. I'll start next week. I don't have time. I'm not ready yet. Or I'll do it when things settle down. But the reality is, life never settles down. There is no magical someday. The people who succeed are not the ones who had more time. They're the ones who made time. They didn't wait for the storm to pass. They learned to dance in the rain. Imagine someone who wants to get fit. They buy workout clothes, watch fitness videos, follow healthy pages. But every morning, they wake up and find a reason not to go to the gym. It's too cold. I slept late. I'll start tomorrow. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and soon, the dream fades away. Now, imagine another person who faces the same challenges, but chooses to go anyway. They wake up tired, they go in the rain, they lift when they don't feel like it. Slowly, their body transforms, their energy grows, and their confidence shines. What's the difference? Not the dream. Both had it. The difference is execution. Excuses create stories, execution creates results. The world remembers the doers, not the talkers. You don't need to explain your dreams to everyone. Let your results speak for you. Action is the language of success. When you act, even if it's imperfect, you invite growth. When you hesitate, you invite regret. You'll never be ready for your next level until you start moving toward it. Sometimes people don't execute because of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But here's the truth, the only real failure is not trying at all. Every step you take teaches you something. Every mistake sharpens your understanding. Execution is not about perfection, it's about progress. Even small actions done consistently are far more powerful than big plans that stay trapped in your mind. Let's take a simple example. Think about a writer who dreams of publishing a book. For years, they keep planning but never writing. They wait for the right inspiration or the right time. Meanwhile, another writer, less experienced, starts writing a few pages every night. After a year, that second writer has a finished book, while the first one still has excuses. The lesson: you don't need to be the best to begin. You become the best because you began. Execution transforms vision into reality. It's the moment where dreams stop being ideas and start becoming life. The mind loves to procrastinate. It tricks you into believing that waiting is safe. But waiting is just another form of fear disguised as logic. Don't wait for confidence to act. Act and confidence will follow. Don't wait for clarity to start. Start and clarity will appear. The path becomes clear when you begin walking on it. Every time you choose execution over excuses, you strengthen your willpower. You tell yourself, I am capable. I am in control. And that confidence spreads into every area of your life. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the creator of your reality. Think about the people who inspire you the most. They weren't born fearless or privileged. They simply chose to execute. Whether it's an entrepreneur who started with nothing, an athlete who trained through pain, or a teacher who kept showing up for their students every day, what they all share is consistency in action. They didn't wait for the right conditions, they made their conditions right. In your own daily life, execution can be as simple as starting with one small step. Want to learn something new? Read one page today. Want to save money? Put aside a small amount right now. Want to improve your relationships? Send that message, make that call, say that apology. Stop overthinking and start moving. Because the truth is, action cures anxiety. Once you begin, momentum builds, and what once felt impossible becomes achievable. Excuses are easy because they protect the ego. Execution is hard because it challenges the ego. But when you stop hiding behind reasons and face reality with courage, something magical happens. You start trusting yourself again. You begin to feel proud not because everything is perfect, but because you're finally taking responsibility for your life. Imagine the peace of mind that comes when you lie down at night, knowing you did your best, that you moved forward even if only by one step. That satisfaction is worth more than any excuse. Excuses give temporary comfort, but permanent regret. Execution gives temporary struggle, but permanent pride. So, make it your rule. Replace every excuse with an action, no matter how small. Every time your mind says, I can't, respond with, I'll try. Every time fear whispers, what if I fail? Reply, what if I fly? Keep showing up, keep doing, keep believing. Execution may not give instant results, but it always gives progress. And progress is the foundation of greatness. Because in the end, success is not for those who have everything figured out. It's for those who take one more step when everyone else stops. It's for those who turn excuses into effort, and effort into excellence. That's how ordinary people achieve extraordinary lives, by choosing execution every single day.